Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. When people think of chiropractic care, they think about getting their back cracked. But there's much more to it. Dr. Jason Day is joining us to discuss how chiropractic care benefits physical and mental health for all age groups. And it's good to see you again, Doctor. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, there was a time, right? That's all people thought of. Chiropractors, you get your back cracked, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But I am amazed at what chiropractic can now do and how it benefits the entire person. Can we dive into this?
And we never shy away from these conversations because they are important, because at the heart of what we do is a brain and nervous system that needs to work better. We do have great results with back pain, neck pain, headaches, but that's because the nervous system, the brain and the nerves are regulating that healing process. But the nervous system for your back is the same one for your colon, your liver, your lungs, your energy, your emotions, your everything is controlled, regulated 100% by that brain and nervous system. And unfortunately, that brain and nervous system has to deal with a lot of stress, different physical, chemical, emotional stressors. The purpose of an adjustment for you, for your child, for a newborn baby, or a great-grandmother is to improve that nervous system's ability to adapt to those stressors. So yeah, of course it's going to feel better, but it's going to function better.
You know, when you talk about the whole individual, does that include mental health as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So
how
again,
do you do that? I mean,
how does it help?
Work?
And again, I want to be very precise with my language. We're not treating anxiety or treating depression or treating autism, but our practice is absolutely full of testimonies and miracles in each of these areas. And the miracle is not me, it's actually the person and the nervous system inside of them. So when the body deals with too much physical, chemical, and emotional stress, and we can go through all of those, there's physical stressors, we beat our bodies up, there's chemical stressors in our environment and our diet, and there's a lot of emotional stressors, especially coming out of the pandemic. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
Every single health statistic is absolutely tanked because that brain and nervous system can only adapt to so much before it does what? It kicks into fight or flight. You ever heard of fight or flight?
Oh, I sure have.
Awesome if you need it. If I'm running from a bear, I need to be in fight or flight. But during fight or flight, my emotions heighten, my blood pressure goes up to pump more blood to my legs, my muscles tighten, hormones surge, digestion. A lot of things ramp up, a lot of things ramp way down. That makes perfect sense when you're running from a bear. But the problem is it wasn't a bear, it was 2020. It was deadlines, it's work, it's kids, it's pregnancy, it's hormones, it's all these different things. And at some point the brain kicks into survival mode. And this is an important distinction. When we're surviving, we're not healing. What we do with the adjustment, when we get to that point, we'll talk about how we get there, but the adjustment is increasing that brain and nervous system's ability to adapt, to be stronger through those seasons of stress. But when it comes to your health, your child's health, or a newborn baby's health, we're not gonna guess. We're going to measure. We have 3 different scans, and these are all a lot of nerdy technology and research to back it up, but thermography. So that nervous system is incredibly complex. It does everything. So how do we tap into that nervous system? One of the primary functions of that nervous system is to regulate blood flow. So with inflammation, irritation, stress, it changes the temperature. Just on a very simple level, if you roll your ankle, even if your ankle feels fine and it's twice the size as the other, something's wrong with your ankle. Right. Like your body would not do that unless something was wrong. So we can actually measure the temperature safely on either side of that spine and nervous system. And the spine, if you think about it, is truly an extension of the brain. It's no less important. We're not dealing with a back or a bone or a joint or a muscle. It's the brainstem. It's the extension of the brain into the body. So we look at the temperature. We also do a scan called a surface EMG that was developed by neurologists. It measures the tone and tension and stress on that neuromuscular system. I don't say just the muscles because the nerve is what controls those things. So if your body's wasting energy, stressed and tense, we can actually measure that. And then the last one, again, I know it's a lot, and I love geeking out with these audiences because nerd is a compliment in my family. But no, we don't want to guess, we measure it. But the third and final scan is called heart rate variability. And this is the medical standard for measuring that fight or flight response. So we can actually tap into that on a newborn baby, with an adult, with a grandparent, to see if the body and neurology is in that fight or flight state. And with these different scans, also with a complete conversation with the person of what's going on with you, what's going on with your child, as well as the physical, we can measure and find out exactly what blueprint you need to get better.
Okay, I was going to ask you because you treat babies
Yeah.
all the way up to, old guys like me.
Right.
So how do you approach each individual, different age groups and diagnose and
let's
treat.
jump into that. So one of the first questions, I love tackling these because like, why on earth would you adjust a baby?
Yeah, they're brand
5
new.
seconds
It's
old.
like a brand new car. What could be wrong?
And again, I want to say that I'm a father to 5 children. I'm a dad more than I am a doctor. And I've had a front row seat to all of their births, including my 5th son, Silas, who was born via adoption. And again, it's been a dream of mine since I was 18 to adopt a child. And I will say this wholeheartedly and sincerely, thank God for the interventions that saved his life in that birth process. I can't imagine the stress of that pregnancy, knowing that she was going to give that child up for adoption. But due to certain very specific necessary reasons, they had to bring him into this world via C-section. This is not an opinion or a soapbox. The medical literature tells us that the average C-section puts upwards of 60 pounds of pulling on a baby's neck and brainstem.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want a grown man doing that to my ankle, much less to my baby. And again, the intervention saved his life, but what are we pulling on? It's not just a muscle, it's a brainstem, and the brainstem's ground zero for that fight or flight response. And back to my bear analogy, if I'm running from a bear, how important is it to digest breakfast if you're about to be breakfast? So digestive issues like colic, constipation, reflux, that's kind of common with our babies. But how important is to fight a cold or an ear infection if you're about to fight a bear? So suppressed immune function, anxiety, poor sleep, digestion, these are just common checklists for babies, but just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal. And we find that that brainstem, if unchecked, if it stays irritated, again, that's the fight or flight spectrum of spectrum challenges, ADHD, autism, anxiety, things that are on a meteoric rise in our pediatric population. So we're just talking about babies now.
Right.
They're 5 minutes old and they've had some significant challenges. And again, if they're having sleepless nights, colic, reflux, constipation, they're switching over to formula because breast milk's not an option. They're exposed to environmental toxins, and their older brother from preschool with countless colds and runny noses coming in, and there's just too much. And at some point, the brain and nervous system kicks into fight or flight. So adjustments for babies, and honestly, adjustments for you are very gentle and very specific, perfectly safe, but done from a scientific perspective. We're not just pushing on stiff spots to make backs feel better. We'll help your back. That's like the easiest
Good,
thing
I got
to
a
do.
bad back too.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's really about the brain working better.
Well, and I noticed this even with my little girl who's, after COVID, I mean, a different person. She really did get sick for about a year straight, nonstop.
Yeah.
Anxiety was through the roof. And in talking to the physicians, they're seeing this all over the place. You can help.
Absolutely.
You can absolutely help
it's not
that.
that we're treating these issues, they're tough issues, but we're creating an environment where their body can take care of themselves.
All right.
Again, we're not looking back to 2020 to make a political statement, but a
No.
lot of stuff that happened, whether it was necessary or not, wrecked our children's health. It wrecked our health.
Yes, it did.
Every single health statistic tanked. And pre-2020, this is straight from the CDC, you can look it up, 1 in 5 children have a defined mental disorder. 1 in 4 children have a chronic illness. 1 in 9 children have asthma. Like, the stats are horrible. And we saw those just plummet even further because the nervous system can only deal with so much before it just kicks into that stress mode and survives.
Well, we got a lot more to talk about, Doctor. And I have a lot of questions personally. We'll talk during the break.
Yes.
You guys stick around because we're coming right back.